Okay, today we're talking about lesson 9.5, where we're going to be finding the volume of pyramids and cones. Let's take a look at the warm-up. Find the volume of a square prism with 8-inch base edges and a 12-inch height. So, the formula for finding volume is area of the base times your height. Okay, and it tells you it's a square, so that means every side is going to be 8 inches. So to find the area of the base would be 8 times 8, side times side, and then that gets multiplied by the height, which is 12. And it is inches, so 8 times 8 times 12 would be 768. It is volume, so that's going to be cubic inches. Make sure you label. And then number 2, find the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 8 inches and a height of 12 inches. If my diameter is 8, my radius is 4. Be careful with that there. Now the formula for finding volume is pi r squared height. So I would multiply pi times my radius squared times my height, which is 12. Round to the 10th whenever necessary, and it would be 603.2. It does tell me inches, so cubic inches. That is a 6. Okay, now we're going to talk about volume of the pyramid. The formula for that is right here. You're going to multiply 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So it's very, very similar to a prism, except you have to multiply by 1/3 as well, okay? So let's take a look at, what you want to be sure that you do, okay, just as a reminder, even though I've talked about it every time, pay close attention to your base. In this case, your base is a triangle. So follow the formula for finding the area of that. In this case, this one is a square. So when you find the area, it'd be the area of a square. So just be very cautious there that you're using your base. Okay, so I'm going to find the volume of this pyramid. I can see that each side is 12. I can tell my base here, that is a square. So it's going to be 12 and 12 for my sides there. So 1/3 times area of the base times my height. I'm going to obviously multiply 1/3 times area of my base would be 12 times 12. And then times my height, which is 12. Now, one thing that I want to make sure that you're aware of, that I just thought of, that I don't want to cause any confusion, is notice that this time it is the height. That means it's the actual height of the pyramid. The other day we did surface area and we wanted the slant height, and that was when we had an L in our formula, but that's not what we have this time. So just be really careful when you're using that formula chart. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't rush, okay? Do not rush. Now, when you multiply all these things out, 1/3 times 12 times 12 times 12, always round to the nearest 10th if needed, but you will get 576. Doesn't tell me what, so that's going to be cubic units. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Find the volume of the pyramid. Now this time, got that right angle there, and you can clearly see that's a triangle. So when you go to use the formula of 1/3 times area of the base times the height, this time your area of the base is going to be base times height divided by 2, so don't forget that, okay? Don't forget that. So, of course, you'll multiply times 1/3. Base times height divided by 2, okay? So you have 8 times 14 divided by 2. Do that first to get that number, and then you'll know what to multiply by. And then times And then, of course, your height is going to be 17. So when you multiply 8 times 14 divided by 2, you will get 56. Now, you don't want to put 1/3 8 times 14 divided by 2 times 17 because you need to remember the calculator is going to follow PEMDAS no matter what, okay? So you want to do this chunk first to get that number. Then you can put it all into the calculator, okay? Just make sure you follow the guideline there. All right, once you multiply these things out, you get 317.3, and it is cubic units. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, this time, let's see. I have a rectangle, it looks like, because it's 7 times 9. So I'm going to do 1/3 times area of the base times the height. Okay, so I'll do 1/3. And this time, finding the area of my base is 7 times 9. And then that gets multiplied by my height, which is 2. So let's see here. I'm going to multiply 1/3 times 7 times 9, which is 63, times 2. And when you do that, you get 42, and it is again cubic units. Always be sure to label it. Okay. Now, let's take a look here, because now we're going to be finding the volume of a cone. This one also has 1/3 in it. Here's your formula. Okay, so it's just like pi r squared height. Okay, so it's just like when you're finding on a pyramid, but you're having the area of your base times your height, okay, and then you're multiplying by 1/3 because it is a cone. Okay, so let's take a look here. Number 4 says find the volume of the cone. Let's see, make sure we can see it there. All right, so that's going to be 1/3 times pi r squared times your height. So we have 1/3 times pi times my radius squared times my height, which is 15. Yes, that's talking about that. Normally there'll be an arrow or a little dash, but there wasn't there that time. Okay, so when you go through here, 1/3 times pi times radius squared times your height, which is 15, you will round that to the 10th, and you'll get 392.7 cubic units. All right, number 5. Find the volume of the cone. 1/3 pi r squared height. Okay. Notice this is the whole diameter, so that's going to be my radius equals 3. It is showing the height. I know this is a strange looking cone, but it is still 6. So that's going to be 1/3 times pi times 3 squared times 6. All right, be sure to round that, and you will get 56.5 cubic units. All right, let's take a look at this last one here. Find the volume of the cone. The height is 6. That's my diameter. That's not what I want. I want my radius. So just be careful there every time, because it really is simple. Just don't rush. So you'll have 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 6. Okay, so I have 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 6. I'm going to round that, and I will get 100.5. And again, it's just cubic units. It's not always cubic units, okay? Make sure it's not inches or feet or something like that. Just be really cautious here, guys, because this is very, very simple. And that concludes our lesson.